This is a 2016 mountain trail camper and we've just bought it, but it's not as good as it appears. It's been brought into us for a service and the customer said he hasn't used it for 5 years. It's been sitting out in a paddock and it was packed up wet. When we opened the lid, we realised this is full of corrosion, rust and mould, and it's really unrepairable. The customer did not want it back, so we've purchased it and we're about to see if we can rebuild it.
This is a huge project.
Your biggest challenge is that these were made never to come apart.
Oh, well, they were. These are removable, as you can see.
I can see that,
The EDX was produced from 2013 right through until 2018 and internally known as the EDX V1. In 2019, we released the EDX V2 that ran right through until 2023 when it was discontinued for us to focus on our off-road caravan range. Now, if anyone knows the EDX, it's me because I designed it back in the day in 2012 and worked on every update right through. So this should be easy, but this time when I rebuild it, I'm going to make it better. In 2016, we entered the EDX in the Camper Trailer of the Year award and won. And this one is a 2016 model, but it's not in good condition. It's been left outside in the elements. It's been packed up wet. It has rust, corrosion and mold, and we need to try and fix it.
Okay.
The first thing we need to do is see if we can get the lid open. Once we've got the lid open, we can look at the damage and start the repair. But right now we've got no power. So the alternative is to try and jump start it with a jump pack through the back section, which only we know how to do.
I've now hardwired this cable direct to the actuators, which control the opening and closing of the lid. So if we do this...
But before we open the lid, we've got to get the boat loader out of the way. It's side hinged and up it goes. We pin the boat loader in position and now it's time to see if my electric shortcut has actually worked.
Pretty cool, huh?
And that's because every EDX has an electric open and close feature. Just press a button to get it open and closed. The tent was so bad I had to get my staff to pull it off with masks to get it out of the way, and we threw it straight in the bin.
This is the tent we removed. We've just cut it off and thrown it in the bin, but check that out, that mold. I think what we need to do now is rip into it and start removing all the tent parts around the body, all around the lid as well.
And at this stage, if only I knew what I was about to embark on. My hands after all this drilling and riveting are going to be sore. But it's all coming back to me just like in the day when I first designed the EDX. Tent frame out, and after this, cut some electrical conduit for the lights and onto the tent all the way around. Looking back at it now, the tent used to fix with rivets, just as you can see it, but we've changed it since then, and the new V2s, they just slide on simply. But if we ever had to do a repair, and this is how we got the tent off. As I work my way around the outside of the floor, I get to the corner and realise there's a little bit of rust and corrosion, so I have to stop and inspect the floor to make sure the floor is okay to reuse.
Well, there's definitely had water in here because you can see the rust. For precaution, it's probably best to just pull it apart and see if there's any water, even inside the floor, even if it's not inside this here, which is PET, this is a plastic composite panel. I don't think there'll be water inside of that because it can't get in there, but there definitely could be water and rust and corrosion inside behind these panels. So we'll pull them out, we'll have a look, see if they're repairable, and if they're not, we'll just make new ones. Let's keep going. I've been thinking about what colour to paint it. Because we originally the EDXs back in 2012 and 13 were silver. They were like a metallic silver, like a commercial, it was a urethane colour. And then we went to white, a Range Rover Fuji white, and then that was right through to about 2016. And then you could pick any colour you wanted, as long as you paid extra for it. And this one's obviously in ebony black. But I'm not going to paint it black. I think I'm going to paint it something else. I'm not sure.
Little did I know that I was considering a whole bunch of colors, and I ended up thinking that we might have to go black in the end, but let's just see what happens. I've run into a little bit of a problem with the EDX where I don't know exactly how some of the panels are linked together, and I don't want to damage it. So I've had a bit of a break. I have found the EDX files on SolidWorks. Let's go and check them out and see how it goes together. Then I can figure out how exactly to pull it apart. This is the EDX in SolidWorks. So what I can do here is I can go like this. If I click a surface, I can do a section view. And I can go down and have a look at what's underneath all of here. And have a look at that. And the panel that I'm trying to get off is this panel here. And I've been thinking about that. And I've just realized that the boat loader, there's a bracket behind the wall there where the boat loader is. You can see it right there. I should be able to unbolt the boat loader and take it off and leave the bracket behind the wall. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. So the next step is to get the boat loader off. Let's get back into it. I head on back to the shed, but there's no one there to help me except the person holding the camera, which is Heidi. There's our Chevy Silverado. You guys may remember that from the Good River Road. It's still in one piece. We cleaned it up, got the dust out of it. This is Heidi's car, she loves it. So I'm actually thinking that what we should do to get this off is take the gas struts off, the tower. So there's 2 gas struts on each tower. We take those off, and then we can unbolt the tower from the bracket, which I'll have to get Heidi to help me do that, because it is after hours now. And then I can unbolt this, and then I can get the wall. And this seemed to work, but I have to hit them pretty hard because they're bound up with rust and corrosion, and it takes a fair bit of force to get them to move. This should be the last part of getting the boat loader off, as in the loader, and then after that, the brackets should come straight off. Oh my God, that is so tight. Oh, wow, that is kind of locked on. I think when we rebuild it, we should rebuild it with some of the technology we have in our caravans. Like different shower, the way we fill the water, electrical system on the side. Just maybe boost it right up. It'd be one of a kind, it really would, if we do all that to it. Because we've learned so much in our company since we built these. I designed this model 14 years ago. It's a long time. But not only that, technology has changed a lot and we've kept up with it. Okay, let's get it off. We've got it unbolted and it's time to lift it off. It's heavy, about 45 kilos, and the only person to help me is Heidi, who's my wife, so this could be a real husband and wife scenario. It's coming out, I've got to get it out. There we go. And what are you doing? Get out from under us today. Okay, so we've now got rid of the boat loader. We need to move the brackets. The outside bracket is fixed to an internal bracket on the inside of the wall that's clamped together. This boat loader's got to be strong because it can swing a 100 kilo boat, so it's built tough. First thing we need to do is get a hand around the back to the internal bracket, find the nut, put a spanner on it, and then we can rattle it off from the outside. And that all worked fine for the front bracket because the front bracket was easy to get to the nuts on the inside, but the rear bracket had the nuts inside the wall, and I couldn't get to it with a spanner, so I had to rethink about the order in which we pulled this apart. It's got a nut on it, so we can't get that off until we get these panels out. This really takes me back. Remember, this EDX was built in 2016, and we started production in 2013. So 3 years later, this is where we're at. But by the time we got to the end of the run of the EDXs and even the EDX V2s, all of this was taken care of. You could remove the boat loader without touching any of the internal panels. And it's like our caravans. We started making them in 2015, and 10 years later, they get better and better and better, and now they're super refined. So now it's getting a bit technical because I want to get the bracket out, but I can't get to the bolts behind it because the panel's in the way. But the problem with that panel, it's covered by other panels. So I need to go back and start at the front and work my way around until I can eventually get to it. So we'll come back to that bracket later. Oh, look at that, guys. Check that out. This is why we are pulling this apart. So we found part of the wiring harness, and what's really good about our caravans and our campers is our wiring harness is designed in-house and fully labelled. So it should be easy to put back together later. Okay, all these have to come out. This is one panel. Down here, folded 90 degrees, back there, folded 90, down there 90, and out. So that's painted as one piece. This whole panel is going to come out in one hit. First I've got to punch the centers out and then drill them out. This is the first part of the big reveal. Once you lift this up, we have the kitchen under here, but first thing we need to do is break the seal with a Stanley knife across the front, which is the outside. Get it off. But a Stanley knife wasn't going to cut it, pardon the pun. It needed something more serious. We're talking a heavy duty chisel and a hammer, because this glue was strong. Now you can probably see that these panels are heavy. It's because they're made of mild steel and painted. These days, everything we do is aluminium, so they're a lot lighter, but they are more expensive. We keep going deeper. We keep digging. Now I have to get this wiring harness out of here. So you can see here I'm trying to protect the wiring harness, but if I update it with the latest technology, I might have to pull it out and replace it anyway. We'll see what happens. Now that we've removed the front section, we need to remove the internal side panels. So more punching and more drilling, and hopefully this one comes out a lot easier than the front. This is the first major inner panel to come out. Let's lift this out and see what we're dealing with under here. There you go. The next panel to come out, we'll do the other side the same, and then we're going to come back over and we're going to actually pull the sidewalls off. So that'll be a big job as well. Let's keep moving. Cutting through these panels was a bit of hard work, but I've got to get prepared for it because there's a lot more ahead. Now this boat loader bracket is an integral part of the entire design, because you've got to think about it. A 100 kilo boat swinging right over the top of the camper, it applies a significant amount of force down where the boat loader bracket is. The external boat loader bracket goes through the wall and attached to a brace, which is attached to an outrigger which is welded to the chassis. And the chassis is the strongest part in the integrity of the entire camper. And there it is, that's the brace we've been looking for, that's attached to the outrigger on the chassis. Now I can access the nuts on the inside. As I mentioned earlier, later we welded the nuts, but in this situation, we need to put a spanner on it, and I can get full access with the panels removed. And the next step is removing the upper luggage compartment. This is a big job because the upper luggage compartment is fitted to the box on top. I start this by removing the hinges, then removing the lid, and then getting to the surround for the base. After the base, we're going to move on to the top that sits underneath the base, if that makes sense. And the whole time I'm working on this, I'm thinking about the wiring harness, because if I cut through it or drill a hole in it or even put a nick in it, it'll cause a problem later. I must say this has been a lot of fun so far, working on this EDX and pulling it apart. It's a time to actually think about a lot of things as he's doing the job. Heidi says I'm extremely persistent, but this top box was really testing my levels.
This multi-tool, I've just gone to the service department and changed over this little blade for this much bigger blade. And hopefully this can get through more of it, because this is glued on really hard and it is a lot to get off.
It just did not want to come off, and I had to persist so hard and just keep going and going and going. And eventually, it's off.
That seems to be working quite well.
Boom! There we go. A little bit of work in that one.
And this little chisel or a paint scraper or whatever it was that I borrowed from the service department is suddenly becoming my best friend.
In some ways this is faster than the multi-tool. This is glued right through these sections here where the rivet holes are. So this could be a bit of a mission to get this off. It is glued. I still think we'll get it off though. Just put this here. I should need that now. Okay.
This is the bit I've been waiting for, the removal of the carpet. The mold and the damp in the carpet was full on, so to get it out was great to reduce the smell.
All right, that is almost the end of the carpet, apart from the clothing drawer. This stinks. Full of mold, let's get it out.
We're back in my office to check out SolidWorks to see exactly what's going on. There's a few components I need to move. I need to find out what the right order is. So straight away around this side here, we can see we've got these, what we call E-rock sliders. That's a stainless steel rock slider. I am going to remove that first, and then after that, we will attack this up here, which is the upper quarter panel, and then the door surrounds around here, and the quarter panel. And what's really cool about this is with SolidWorks, I can actually go into this, I can highlight the part, and then open the part, and then we will see exactly what it looks like, and that's it right there. I can rotate it around and see all the attachment points. So we'll start down at this point here. We'll drill and remove all of these rivets and work our way along the top. The top will have to come out to get the other part out, and then we'll come into the side here for the door surround.
We have the upper quarter panel removed. I think when we redo it, we'll rebrand it to Mountain Trail RV. It's coming apart. Wheel arch, stainless steel trim. and then this off. Ready? Here we go. Oh, it's not coming off. It's rusted on. That should come off. It's glued on. E-rock slider. Look at that, guys. We're getting there. Just this side panel now. Let's get it off. That's a lot of work. Oh. Shit! What a job! Maybe I should just build a new one. Oh, what a project. I've got to tell you, this is a huge, huge project we've taken on here. I can see why they write it off, because its current market value is probably $30,000. And if you look at my labour and the amount of hours I've put into it so far, plus all the parts, like just pulling it apart is enough to write it off. But we're rebuilding it. Here comes the sales guy. Have a look at this, Steve. Look at this. I've got to break the ceiling here.
Your biggest challenge is that these were made never to come apart.
Oh, well, they were. These are removable, as you can see.
I can see that, yeah.
There's a fair bit of work in it. You know what I'm saying?
You might have to go to Bunnings, get another one of those tools.
This one's going okay. From our new sponsors, it's going quite well. They don't know they're sponsoring us yet, but when they watch this video. And same with our new friends in Milwaukee. We've been using Milwaukee tools for a long, long time here at MTRV RV. On the assembly line, we have 50 employees, and we would have hundreds and hundreds of these in stock. In fact, I've actually pinched these from the guys, and they're all running around looking for them today. Impact driver, angle grinder, drill, multi-tool, and there's plenty more to come, which you'll probably see throughout this video. One quarter panel removed.
Yeah.
There's our bracket that holds our boat loader, and we talked about that earlier. How that is connected to an outrigger off the chassis, so that is rock solid. And we've protected our wheel arch by taking the time to carefully cut through that Sikaflex, holding that wheel arch on, as well as the stainless steel rivets. And that all looks pretty good. We are going to clean this out. That's aluminium. So this will actually clean up well. We did that in aluminium back in the day on purpose, as well as the wheel arch, so that if water, did get under here, that it didn't rust out like that. And as you can see, that will clean up very, very well. We just need to get the front section of the doors off. That is another big job. And then once we've done that, exactly the same on the other side. And then after that, we're going to remove the whole front section.
You're making progress.
It's a big job.
It is a big job.
It's a really big job.
Yep.
So now we've completely stripped the right hand side of the camper and discarded all of the panels that we don't need, and it's good to see all those painted panels out of the way. The next step is to go over to the left hand side and do exactly the same, but on the left hand side we're going to have more problems because it's got the wiring harness inside of it, and it's a big job to remove it without damaging it, so we need to be careful. We also have the whole front box assembly to remove, which includes the diesel tank, the jerry can holders, the gas bottle holders and the outer wings. After this, we need to disconnect the lid from the back by unscrewing the bolts and the hinge, disconnecting the actuators and the linkages. After this, we need to move on to the internal components and remove the slide out kitchen, the slide out rear drawer, and then remove the electric components in there as well, such as the red arc battery management system, the diesel hot water service, the batteries, and whatever else we can find, like the water pumps and the water tank gauges. And we also need to assess what the condition of the loom is in. If the loom's okay, we might be able to keep it, or we need to pull that out as well. Well, good morning, and what a huge night I had here last night fixing this EDX and pulling it right down to nothing. The plan today is this. It's stripped, it's ready to go. So we're going to pressure wash it over here. I've got a couple of guys coming over to help me clean up all of the parts, and we're going to go over to the production line, talk to Heidi, because I have a list of all new parts I'm going to put in this EDX. Firstly, I'm going to make it V2 spec. So V2 hot water, loom, the whole lot. I'm not sure whether we've got the parts, so let's head over there and have a look. But first, let's start cleaning up. This is a V2. So the V2s were wider by 50mm, 130mm taller. Look how high the boat loader is. This came out from 2019 in January and finished in 2023. Then it was discontinued. And we discontinued it because the caravan range is so big and it is our core business, and we put all of our resources into the caravan. So let's head down there. Do you remember last night we were talking about the loom?
Yes.
There is no loom.
There is no loom.
There's no loom.
Okay, so we need to order a loom.
Yeah, I've pulled the loom out.
Yes.
And hoping there was a V2 loom here.
Yes.
But there was a loom here, but they've rated it for parts over the past 2 years since we stopped manufacturing it.
Yeah.
So how long is the loom going to take?
So our loom supplier actually have some of our looms in stock. So I will check that list.
Yes.
And if it is, we could get it here within 3 to 4 days.
We are back over here in the detail bay where I've stripped down this EDX V1, and since we've last seen it, I've actually taken the entire front wall off it and removed any panel that is not aluminium. So it is ready to be rebuilt, but I've been thinking there's a lot of work left to go. I've still got to strip down the lid and rebuild that. I've got to rebuild the whole body from all raw material, get it powder coated or painted, make the tent and reassemble it. Huge amount of work. Do we rebuild it? Drop your comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I've been driving my detail is absolutely crazy in here. It's taken me a whole week. Please like, subscribe and stay tuned and find out what we do next. Thanks for watching.